What a star show by Pathum with his double century. Start with cricket and Afghanistan tour to Sri Lanka. Laksisi, what a star show by Pathum with his double century. And not to forget, our openers were able to tick the 50 runs mark in this ODI series. Laksisi, what do you have to add to it?
Yes, Kadhija. So in the first ODI, it was one of the most memorable ODIs in the history of Sri Lanka cricket because Pathum Nissanka became the first ever Sri Lankan batter to score a double century in the ODI format. Now, as you all know, the earlier record for the highest individual score in ODIs for Sri Lanka was with the Master Blaster Sanath Surya. He scored 189 against India in the year 2000. So after 24 years, we had someone breaking that record. And to be honest, Kadhija, Pathum Nissanka is someone that a lot of people didn't expect to reach this landmark because he's someone who takes his time and likes to do things slowly as a batter. But in this knock, he was actually a man on a mission from the very first delivery. He faced just 239 deliveries on his way to make 210, and this is actually third fastest double century in the history of the ODI game. So that's actually a great achievement for Pathum Nissanka. So as I said, a lot of people didn't expect Pathum Nissanka to be the first one to get here, but he actually showed a lot of glimpses throughout his short career so far because he's someone who has the patience, who has the stability, and he's someone who has been very consistent for Sri Lanka in the formats that he has played. Even in the test format, he was good, but due to injuries and stuff, he had to wait out. And then as Nisham also came in, he managed to solidify his spot. But I don't think it will be far away before we see Pathum Nissanka again in the test side. So going back to that point, he made 210 of 139 deliveries, and as I remember, he is the 10th batsman in the history of the game to score a 200. The 9th opener to do so. So out of those 10 batters, 9 have been openers and only one batter has scored in a different position. That's Glenn Maxwell. That knock we all remember from the World Cup last year against the same opposition, actually against Afghanistan. So talking further about the match, Sri Lanka batted first and made 381 for the loss of 3 wickets. Avishka Fernando came back to form really well. He scored 88 of 88 deliveries. The opening partnership in this game was 182 for the first wicket. And then, as I mentioned, Sri Lanka ended up with 381 runs. Sadhir Samaravikram also scored 45 in the end. And Pathum Nissanka, he was unbeaten. He scored 24s and 8 sixes in this knock, so 28 boundaries altogether in this record-breaking knock for Pathum Nissanka. And in bowling, Farid Ahmed took 2 wickets for 79 for Afghanistan. And then in the chase, Afghanistan they struggled a lot at the beginning. They lost 5 wickets for just 55 runs. Pramod Madushan, who is also making a return to the ODI side, just bowled a phenomenal spell with the new ball in hand, took 3 very early wickets, and Dushman Chamir also chipped in with 2 wickets. And then Afghanistan had a bit of a resurgence when Asmatullah Omar Sai and Mohammad Nabi managed to put together a 200 plus partnership for the 6th wicket. Both of them scored centuries. Omar Sai scored 149 and unbeaten 149. Mohammad Nabi scoring just his 2nd century. Kadhija, Mohammad Nabi is someone who has been in the international scene for quite a long time now. Since Afghanistan started to make a name for themselves, he has been there. So he made his 2nd ODI century. I mean, he usually doesn't get such opportunities to bat for a long time, but here he got the opportunity and he cashed in to score 136. And in the end, in their 50 overs, Afghanistan could only score 339 for the loss of 6 wickets. So it was a very good batting surface at Palle Calais. I think if Afghanistan didn't lose too many wickets up front against the new ball, I believe they really could have given Sri Lanka a good fight in this chase, but because they lost those wickets, it was hard for them to make a comeback from that. And in bowling, Pramod Madushan took 4 for 75, and Dushman Chamira took 2 for 55. So Sri Lanka managed to get the early lead in the ODI series by winning that game by 42 runs. And then going into the second ODI, once again Sri Lanka batted first, and Sri Lanka made a score, made a total over 300. They made 308 for the loss of 6 wickets. And in here, Pathum Nissanka couldn't get going, and Avishka Fernando struggled as well. But that was a huge positive for Sri Lanka, as all the 4 batters from number 3 to number 6 for Sri Lanka, they managed to score 50. So basically, the whole middle order managed to make a name for themselves in this game and contribute to the score. Kusal Mendis scored 61, Sandeep Samarasekara scored 52, Janith Liyanage, he's having a very good start to his ODI career, he scored 50, and Chait Asalanga just at the end missed out on a century, deserving 4th century in ODI cricket. He was unbeaten on 97 of 74 deliveries, and Sri Lanka ended up on 308. And in the chase, once again, Afghanistan, they started well. This time it was the other way around. In the first ODI, they struggled in the beginning, but in here, they were very cautious while facing the new ball, and they managed to put up a decent foundation. They were actually 128 for 1 at one point and 143 for 2, but then they just completely lost their way. Kadhija, they lost 8 wickets for just 10 runs. Their last 8 wickets for 10 runs, from 143 for 2 to they got dismissed for 153. And in this collapse, the one who forced the collapse was Mahindu Hasaranga. He took 4 for 27. And Dilshan Madhushanka and Asta Fernando. Asta Fernando is also making a return, because Dushmantha Shamira had an injury in that first ODI, and he was replaced by Asta Fernando, and he took 2 wickets for 23 runs. It was a very good spell of bowling from Asta Fernando on his return to ODI cricket. So in the end, Sri Lanka managed to win the game by 155 runs. So Sri Lanka, they have already sealed the series, and it will be interesting to see how Sri Lanka manages the remaining game, because the ODI championship is no longer there. So there are no points on offer for the last game. During the last cycle, Kadhija, every game was very important, because there were 10 points on offer for every game. But here, that's not the case. So there's a chance that Sri Lanka might test their bench strength here. There's Dunith Tellalage, there's Shevon Daniel, Akila Dhananjay is there as well. Chamika Karunaratne is there too. So those 4 names might get an opportunity, and Sahan Narachige as well. So those 4-5 names might very well get an opportunity to manage the workload of the other players, like Dilshan Madhushanka, Mahindu Hasaranga, Pathum Nissanka, all of them who had some issues with injuries during the last few months. So that's the story from Sri Lanka vs Afghanistan ODI series. Sri Lanka, they have already sealed the series, and we have the dead rubber happening on Wednesday, the day that Sports Watch will be telecast.
Yes, indeed, Laksisi, as you said, our men are on some mission, and wishing them luck for the next match, I would say. And Laksisi, let's move into the Under-19 World Cup.